Hello friends, it's your art teacher, Miss Barnett. In today's lesson called Colorful Still Lifes, we are going to be focusing on fruit to create an energetic still life inspired by the Cuban artist Emilia Palese. Students will be drawing fruit of their choice and then painting their artwork with a warm and cool color scheme. We also will notice that there's lots of flowing black lines are added to give the background interest and create unique shapes, which are then filled with patterns of for a bold finishing touch. So here are two examples of Emilia Palese's artwork of still lifes. She was born in 1896 and died in 1968. She was a painter from Cuba, and Cuba is a Hispanic country in the Caribbean. It's not very far from the United States. Cuba is only 90 miles away from Miami, which is in the south of Florida. She studied in Havana, Cuba, which is the capital of Cuba, and later in New York City in France. After she left France, she returned to Cuba to focus on her Cuban heritage. Remember, heritage is the things in our culture that follow us through time. And her art features flowers and fruits native to Cuba, along with these interesting shapes and patterns. So I'm going to walk you through step by step how to make a still life of fruit and flowers in the style of Emilia Palese. To begin with, we're going to just start with some paper and a pencil. If you need some inspiration or want to use some fruits that are native to Cuba, I have this worksheet or handout for you to reference, or you can go and find the fruit basket in the classroom and use those to set up your still life. So let's get started and follow me to learn more of what to do today. Here we go. All right, friends. So as I said earlier, the central focus of this Emilia Palese inspired still life is a few pieces of fruit. Palese liked to draw fruit that was featured and native to her home in Cuba. For her still lifes, for your still life, you can choose fruit that you enjoy eating or grows where you live. With a pencil, we're going to sketch both a cut piece of fruit and a whole piece of fruit in the center of your 18 by 12 sheet of paper. You could choose to have your paper be vertical, which is up and down, or horizontal side to side, depending on what works best for your composition. Your fruit pieces should overlap, so that means you're going to have one covering up part of another one. And they should be about as big as your hand. So let's get started, and then we're going to draw an oval shape around our fruit to represent the plate. Because in perspective, remember how things look from a distance, the plate should look like a flattened oval. So I'm going to get started and you can watch. Here we go. All right, friends, so I've done my sketch. You might have noticed when I was sketching, I held my pencil further down and drew very light. Remember, we're going to draw light till we get it right. Now I'm going to take my eraser and clean up some of these stray lines, and we'll fix that, and then I'll draw the plate. Here we go. Now that I've cleaned up the drawing, what we're going to do to make the plate is we're going to add some curved lines around the back and match those lines, just like that. So we're making kind of a curved line. We want to make sure that it's going to line up about the right place, so I need to pull this one down just a little bit. Remember, again, I'm holding it further back, I'm drawing light till I get it right, and I'm cleaning up as I go. All right, friends, now that I've drawn my plate and have my sketches done, I'm going to move this to the side, and we're going to talk about the two different color families that we're going to work with today. So we have all rainbow colors on the color wheel. I'm going to use this paper to divide this down the middle. So we have cool colors. Cool colors include things like yellow, green, green, blue, blue, violet, violet, and red, violet. And cool colors can remind us things like cold days, quiet times, very still and calm feelings. When we go to the other side of the color wheel, we are going to use colors like red, red-orange, orange, yellow-orange, and yellow. And warm colors can remind us of a bright sunny day, hot things, spicy things, and lots of excitement. So you're going to use one of these color palettes, either the warm or the cool colors, when we're working on painting our fruit. So when we paint our fruit, you're either going to use warm colors on the fruit and cool colors in the background, or you can do it the opposite way, cool colors on the fruit and warm colors in the background. It's up to you. Okay friends, so I've selected my colors for my fruit. I'm going to do cool colors, so I've got blue, purple, green, turquoise, and white. Remember, we do not have to use the real colors of the fruit. So I'm going to show you this double loading technique to paint your artwork. So we're going to also need a water cup and 2 size brushes, a medium and a small. So what we're going to do here to double load the brush, you're going to take your brush, swipe it. Always start, here's an artist tip, always start with the main thing. We can go into the background and clean up any stray lines later then. So when I double load the brush, I load blue and whatever other color I want onto the same brush. And then when I mix them, you see they come out these beautiful colors. It adds a really nice effect to our painting. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on my painting, and you can watch. Remember, it doesn't have to be blue to load it. You can load it with any 2 colors. We can also add white to add a brighter level of these colors. So that's something for us to think about. So let's get started, and you can watch. Here we go. All right, friends, so I finished my fruit and my plate, and now I'm going to use red, yellow, and orange. And I'm going to, since I have so much of this white left, I'm going to use the white as well, and I'm going to double load these colors onto my brush for the background. Let's get started. All right, friends, now that I've put my warm colors down, we're going to let this dry so we can add our next layer of paint. So put it on the dry rack and we'll come back to it in a little bit. All right, friends, so my painting has dried and I'm ready to go back in and add some background lines. So we're going to use a small round brush. I have a cup of water, and then I put on my palette some black paint that I've thinned out with just a little bit of water. And we're going to outline our fruit and our plate first. So let's get started with that step. All right, kids, now that my plate and my fruit is outlined, I'm going to use my brush, and I'm going to start, we're going to add some contrast and break up the background with a variety of lines and shapes. So remember, we're going to use lots of different lines and shapes. So we're going to draw rounded shapes that start near one corner and end near the other corner on the same side of the paper. The shapes should not touch the fruit or the plate. So here we go. All right, now that I've added these lines, let me back the camera up just a little bit, friends. Excuse me. Now that I've added these lines to the competition, I'm going to go inside each shape and draw curved, wavy, or looped lines that fill up the space. And you can watch. Here we go. Now we're going to draw wavy lines from the fruit and plate that stop when they reach another black line. So now that I've drawn some wavy lines from the fruit and plate that stop when they reach the other black lines, we're going to look for any spaces that seem too large with a bump or a curved line. And I think mine looks pretty good, but if you have any large spaces, we're just going to add another curvy line to break up that space. Now that this step with the black paint is completed, we're going to put it on the dry rack and let the black paint dry. All right, friends, my painting is dry now, so we're going to use either oil pastels or my construction paper crayons, which I have lots and lots of colors, to add patterns inside of each of these shapes. You're going to stick with your same color scheme and only use warm colors over warm colors and cool and white, with the exception being to use in both areas. So we're going to use cool colors here in white and warm colors here in white. So let's get started. Remember that we're going to repeat the contour of the outline of the shapes within each shape. So you're going to follow these lines as you make your patterns. We could add circles, triangles, squares that fill the area inside a shape. You could draw different types of lines like zigzags or wavy lines to fill out this shape in space, and you're going to repeat the process, except for on the middle we're going to do the cool colors, or vice versa depending on yours. So you can watch. Let's get started. Here we go. All right, friends, I finished my outside with the warm colors, and I'm going to go in and work on my cool colors on the inside. So we're going to use colors like green, violet, and white, and blue. All right, so let's get started on that, and you can watch. Here we go. All right, friends, here's my completed colorful still life project. I really think that adding that little bump of pattern really made this project pop. I hope you have as much fun working on this as I did, and I cannot wait to see your beautiful still lifes. Let's get started.